Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Hubar begins now.
Anthony Albanese says he's confident Labor can win back Bass and Braddon when voters head to the polls. The Labor leader was forced to answer for his key candidates as one shrugged off questions.
The Red Cavalry assembled for Labor's Tasmanian campaign launch, but it came off the back of a rocky week for the General and some key foot soldiers.
It was a great launch, looking really forward to getting back to campaigning now.
In regards to your tweets earlier this week,
terrific launch.
Hosting those things?
Terrific launch.
Brian Mitchell was pulled into line, refusing to answer questions about his embarrassing tweets. Speaking to 7 Tasmania News, Labor leader Anthony Albanese also couldn't confirm that he knew about Chris Lynch's 1994 drug trafficking charge when he endorsed him as Braddon candidate.
Those issues go through a vetting process of the organisational wing. Chris Lynch made it very clear as part of that process.
But it didn't spoil the mood for the Labor faithful. They have blood redder than most, and you could feel it coursing through the room as their leader was given a rock star's welcome. Spruiking Labor's aged care reforms and the 3 urgent care centres announced for the state.
We'll train more nurses. We have 20,000 additional university places for areas of skill shortage, and nursing is one of those.
If elected, Labor would also invest in hydrogen trucks, which could replace those running on diesel, while $2 million will be poured into a West Coast wind farm at Whaleback Ridge.
This is an opportunity to grow jobs and to have an industry based right here in Tasmania.
Anthony Albanese will be hoping Tasmanians rally around him in a fortnight's time as the Labor Party looks to win back 2 crucial seats in the north of the state.
As the battle for Bass heats up, the Liberals are pledging to fund a $2.5 million facelift for Launceston's Princess Theatre.
To make sure that it is fit for purpose for generations of Northern Tasmanians to enjoy into the future.
It's really the heart and soul of the performing arts community, and in fact we have people who refer to this place as their second home.
Our home turf, a key battleground as polling day approaches. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Ballot boxes have closed for this year's Legislative Council elections. Voters in McIntyre, Huon and Elwick went to the polls today to elect upper house members for the next 6 years. Preliminary results will be updated tonight, but a clear winner may not be found until tomorrow. A 38-year-old man has been charged with murder after allegedly stabbing his father in Howrah yesterday afternoon. Police were called to the 74-year-old's Lumber Street home at 3 o'clock, where he was found deceased with a knife wound to his chest. Both men had been living at the residence at the time of the incident.
The 38-year-old man actually contacted police, and from that emergency services arrived, and he was still at the scene at the time.
The accused is due to appear before Hobart Magistrates Court tonight. Investigations are ongoing, with police asking anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers. Tasmania has recorded 2 more COVID-related deaths overnight. Both women were aged in their 80s. This brings the death toll to 58 since the pandemic first made its way into the state. Meanwhile, cases have dropped with 903 new infections. 48 patients are still being treated for the virus in hospital, and 1 person remains in ICU. The success of Tasmania's inaugural NBL outfit is driving up junior basketball participation like never before. Intake is up 7.4%, with thousands of young athletes taking to the court this year. The state's basketball body is embracing the influx as the number of clinics and tournaments also grows.
I'm hearing stories from various associations around the state of team numbers in excess of 50% growth from last year to this year.
It's hoped the support will help to deliver the next generation of jack jumpers as work is underway to address the lack of court space and referees, with some clubs currently being forced to turn away players due to the sport's skyrocketing popularity. Spirits remained high as rain bucketed down on a climate change rally in Hobart. Tasmanian Climate Collective set up the vocal campaign on Parliament lawns, raising awareness around the potential threats to future generations.
There's global warming, there's ice sheet melting, there's glacier melting, so that's sea level rising, rivers disappearing. There's biodiversity loss, there's ecological collapse.
The group was recently formed, bringing together like-minded individuals and groups as the election approaches. Local florists are scrambling to ensure Mother's Day blossoms. Requiring months of preparation, staff at Botanical Kate Syce are working overtime to assemble more than 500 orders.
They inspire me with their creativity and their passion and their dedication and their sheer hard work. Yeah, it makes me teary.
But they say attaining Tasmanian produce is a challenge in itself, with local farmers unable to meet demand.
It's not that we don't want to stock local flowers, because we'd really love to. It's just that they can't provide us with the quantities and the continuity that we need.
Despite the chaos, workers say it's well worth the hugs, laughs and smiles that will stem from their hard work tomorrow. Hello again. The NBL's MVP has been ruled out of Game 2 of the Grand Final series against the Jack Jumpers, less than 24 hours from being due to take the court. Jalen Adams won't suit up for the Kings tomorrow after they outplayed Tasmania in the series opener last night.
Star import Josh Majette was happy to be back in Jack Jumper territory with a shot of energy as they touched down in Hobart.
I don't think anyone's in a panic mode at all right now. It's one game, it's first to three.
Sydney Kings coaching staff were in close quarters following a comfortable opening win.
Same thing what we did in United and lost the first game there and learn from it. We got 36 hours to kind of flip the script and go back through it.
MVP Jalen Adams set the tone early on last night, making his way through traffic to help secure the first points of the series.
Scores the first two of the grand final.
There were nerves early on for the newcomers, missing their first 4 field goal attempts.
It's Fabian Krislovic off target.
Fan favourite Jack McVeigh stepped up to get the away side on the board.
That's a good look.
That's what you're talking about, Drewy. The ability from Josh Majette to attack off the bounce.
It appeared to be anyone's game at half-time, with the away side matching the Kings' pace.
It's been spirited and it's a genuine dogfight. 43-40 at the main break.
We just have to tidy up a few things offensively, and our defensive transition needs to be on point.
But Tasmania's usual showman struggled as Sydney turned up the defensive pressure.
Josh Adams has got himself into trouble.
Max Kenyon unlucky with this turnover late in the third.
And another turnover.
The Kings continued to turn it on in Kudos Bank Arena, firing up for the fourth.
Down the middle, but he's had a huge influence.
Despite the Game 1 success, the future of one important playmaker has been decided for Game 2. Jalen Adams ruled out with a hamstring concern.
Oh my.
We'll head down into the rooms.
That is a big, big worry for Kings fans.
While initial worry around McVeigh's shoulder is a little more positive for the Green Army.
Is McVeigh a little slow to get up?
Just some general soreness this morning, but I felt good enough to, fly without too much complaining, and I think he'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Thousands of passionate Tasmanian fans will fill the stands here at MyState Bank Arena tomorrow afternoon, where the Jack Jumpers will be hunting for redemption in front of a sold-out crowd.
We've been in the iPads, been looking at film already last night and this morning, and we'll have some adjustments for tomorrow and be ready to go.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmanian News.
The Hobart Chargers are licking their wounds after going down to Kilsyth in the men's and women's games overnight. AJ Harris and Harry Froling dunked 15 points each for Hobart, but Kilsyth had the men's side's measure, winning 82-78. Shana Thompson hit 5 three-pointers for the women's team, a shining light for the home side in a 75-57 drubbing. To the Lacaselle Jack Cup quarter-finals, and Devonport has survived a scare from Glenorchy. The Knights opened the scoring with a well-executed set-piece, but the Strikers pulled one back and then pulled ahead by half-time, eventually winning 4-2. And Devon has fought back from a half-time deficit to beat Arrows in round 7 of the Tasmanian Netball League. Hawks maintained their lead at the top of the ladder with a demolition of Kingston. They led from siren to siren, winning 67-43 at the Silverdome. Meanwhile, the other Northern power, the Cavaliers, put the third-placed Cripps Waratah to the sword, 57-33, showing the gap between the top two and the rest of the league. Somerset's Kyron Bacon has taken out his first Australian 4-day enduro title in the E1 class in Eastern Victoria. The Yamaha champion excelled, also winning the one-on-one motocross sprint race after the enduro competition.
Growing up, there was a Tassie round a few years ago, and I never thought I'd be here today, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm stoked.
Bacon returns to the Off-Road Championship in July. In the State League now, and Sam Siggins has continued his good form for Lauderdale, kicking 4 in the side's thrashing of Glenorchy. North Launceston claimed another scalp in a low-scoring affair at Twin Ovals, and North Hobart was kept goalless in the second half against Clarence.
It's only early May, but wet weather footy made a rude return to keep scores low across the league. Clarence managed to rise above the deluge. Jax Barwick kicked 3. That was more than North Hobart, who only managed 2 for the day, both in the second quarter to Will Splan and Josh Bingham. But the Roos were the bright lights on this dark and dreary day, winners by just shy of 10 goals, their 4th win of the year. No flood of goals either at Twin Ovals, only 4 were kicked at half-time before the floodgates opened. Brad Cox-Goodger was again the anchor, while Nathan Pearce kicked 4 of his own, as North Launceston outscored the Tigers 3-fold to put a huge dent in Kingborough's finals aspirations. And in a sobering sign of the times, Glenorchy's 81-point loss was the closest margin it's had all season. A red-hot Lauderdale, fresh from toppling the reigning premier, easily accounted for the struggling Pies. Bruce Walsh celebrating his 200th game in style. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Good evening. Just 12 degrees in Hobart today, 15 in Launceston, 17 for both Devonport and Burnie. 17 was the state's high, also recorded at Wynyard and on King Island. 16 on Flinders Island and also at Low Head. St Helens 15, 14 at the Friendly Beaches, Ouse, Strawn and Maria Island. Grove 11 and 6 degrees the high for Lyawini. An active area of cloud is seen today over most of the state, spiralling into a low off the southeast coast. A line of cloud associated with a thunderstorm extends over Queensland and New South Wales, with cloud extending over and east of the coastline. Tomorrow the low will weaken and move well east of Tasmania with a lingering trough over Bass Strait. A high centred east of Adelaide dominates most of the continent. Winds 15 to 25 knots, reaching up to 35 knots about the east and up to 30 knots in the north in the morning, seas 2 to 4 metres. There is a gale warning issued for the upper and lower east coasts, as well as strong wind warnings for Storm Bay, the far northwest coast, central north coast, Banks Strait and Franklin Sound, as well as east of Flinders Island and the southeast coast. There are also minor and final flood warnings for many parts of the state to keep an eye on tomorrow. Tomorrow in Hobart 15 with a possible morning shower. Similar conditions at Richmond 16 and Ouse 14 degrees. A partly cloudy day in Launceston and Devonport 17, 15 and partly cloudy in Deloraine. Partly cloudy in Burnie 16, Strawn 14, showers easing and Curry 15, partly cloudy there. Partly cloudy in St Helens 17, also at Swansea 15, Whitemark a mostly sunny day 17. Looking ahead to Monday, fine apart from light showers in the northeast and west coast. Tuesday, fine apart from possible showers about the southwest coast, and Wednesday, showers about the central north and northeast, fine elsewhere. Perth 26 and partly cloudy tomorrow, 19 in Adelaide, a mostly sunny day in Canberra 16 and Melbourne 16 with a possible morning shower. And it is raining in Hobart 11 degrees, Launceston 13 partly cloudy and Devonport 12 with clear skies. And Lou, I'm feeling the winter chill in the air today, letting us know winter is well on its way.
Certainly making its mark this week. Thanks for that, Carmen. And that's all your news for this Saturday evening. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Good night.